Hey, thanks for tuning in for Testimony Tuesday, as I'm now calling it. I'm going to keep calling it something different just to spice it up. But we are back with another testimony from one of our students up here at the Christian Life Ranch. Now we have with us Brandon, who's going to share some of his story with all of you fine people out there. So, Brandon, what did life look like for you, let's say maybe about a year ago? What were things like that?
Going from job to job, spent a lot of my times at just very sketchy places, bars, crack houses, really wherever I could go to get high. It's where I spent my time. And really just jumping job to job. Couldn't hold a job for more than a couple weeks. So,
How long had you been struggling with addiction before coming into the program, would you say?
6 years, a little over 6 years.
Okay. So what happened, or what was kind of the series of events that led to you coming into the program?
I started losing a lot of the things I cared about. My relationship with my family was going downhill. I was in a 2-year relationship that I had lost as well due to just following after that addiction. And I got to the point where I wasn't really able to see my son and that's really what did it. Is I value all of those people and my son, and so I knew I needed to make a change, and that it was now or never kind of thing.
So what do you think you were looking for in drug use, and were you able to find it?
What was I looking? Pleasure was a big one at first, and then it turned into something deeper. I think it was a sense of identity, who I was. I found that in drug use and partying and just that whole scene. And I think another part of it would be purpose.
Well, how long have you been in the program now, Brandon?
9 months, a little over 9 months.
That's awesome, man. How did you hear about Teen Challenge? Somebody in your family knew about it, or?
So in 2020, I got some charges, and so the judge offered me Teen Challenge, and I said no. And then in 2022, in April, my parents brought it up again, and I said no. And then in July of 2022, I was finally ready, and so I reached out to my pastor, and he knows some people at Phoenix and was able to get me in within a week. So,
awesome. So, like you said, a man without purpose will settle for pleasure. So, what do you feel like God's been telling you your purpose really is over these last 9 months?
Being a leader to my family, for sure. And then also, I think maybe being in ministry, but really my family is supposed to be my first ministry. You know, having a son and 5 brothers and 5 sisters, I have a lot of people that I can minister to. So,
do you feel like God's been putting on your heart maybe what that ministry would look like after completing the program?
I think it would start off getting involved in a church and see where I fit best, and then taking ASOM classes.
Okay, man, that'd be awesome. So what would be some hope or advice you would share with somebody who's struggling out there with addiction, or a family member who has somebody that they're praying for?
It's all on God's timing. You know, my parents, obviously knew I needed help for a while, and they couldn't get through to me because I wasn't ready. And so I think we all get to that point. And so it's just, my parents were very supportive of me, knowing I was struggling. They were just always there and never never weren't willing to help me if I needed it. And so I just had to get to that point where I knew I needed help. And then that's the whole first step, is admitting that you need help. And it's a hard step, but it's so worth it. Mm-hmm. Even though it felt impossible for years to reach out and be like, yeah, I need help. But once I did, it's probably the best decision I've made in my life. So,
yeah, that's a big part of addiction that goes on really talked about is co-addiction. You know, sometimes there are people in our lives that, you know, enable us and try to help or save us on their own strength. And I know that was the best thing that my parents did for me, was just to say, we're not giving you any money, we're not helping you, we're taking you to Teen Challenge, or we're not taking you anywhere. So that helped me kind of limit my options a little bit. Sometimes God needs to put us in a place like that where we're more readily willing to submit because all of our, you know, kind of comfort zones are being taken away. Well, thanks, man, for sharing your testimony. We really appreciate having you here and looking forward to seeing what God's going to do in your life. Thank you for all of you that have been tuning in. Please do check out the link in the description and head on over to www.azgives.org/TCAZ. We are a quarter of the way there. We so appreciate everybody who's donated. Our goal for this year is $25,000, and we are believing God will provide that. And every dollar that comes our way goes towards helping people like Brandon right here. So thanks for stopping in.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back for another testimony at 3 p.m.
My name is Elijah, and I'm 27 years old. At 14 years old, I began using marijuana, alcohol, and cocaine, which was the beginning of a 9-year addiction to heroin and methamphetamines. I began going to rehabilitation when I was 16 years old, in and out of secular rehabs, but was unable to gain any real sobriety time. And I was introduced to Teen Challenge at the age of 18. I've been in Teen Challenge now for almost 11 months, which is the most sobriety time that I've ever had since beginning on this journey. Since coming to Teen Challenge, I have noticed reconciliation between me and my wife, and restoration between me and my family members, between me and my daughter, and it's just given me another opportunity to live and to learn to be a godly husband and a godly father. And so I'm thinking about doing an internship and giving back to the ministry that saved my life. Please support the Christian Life Ranch for Arizona Gives Day by making a charitable contribution by clicking the link below.